we're learning more about the Song of Ice and Fire. I find it somewhat interesting, but I will be honest, the first video I was going to make here kind of messed up, so, you know. I'll admit that's completely on me, so yeah.
Oh, talking about Beast Boy, he actually has there's actually another hero with well, technically there's two more people with powers like him.
I,
Except one's kind of a bitch because she literally gets her powers through literally killing the creature and stealing them from the other one from
oh,
them. And the other one is literally one that's like him, and she actually sees him kind of like a big brother, which I think is adorable.
I do know of one in Marvel that does. I don't remember his name, but he can take on the abilities of dinosaurs and partially turn into them.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Song of Fire and Ice. Very interesting at the very least, and if you guys want me to do more videos like this, get them up to 1K on views, and yeah, I'll check out more of them. Views are kind of how I gauge what you guys really want. But anyway.
Too many people
How
want
did the
freaking Gundam. I hate it. I'm
Oh my god.
leaving.
Oh my god, just learn about the Gundam's fable.
Oh, they're all named after Watership Down creatures.
No, that's just the Hazels.
I hate the Hazels.
Oh my god, but they have such lovely designs, and they're such a nice dark blue.
I hate it.
Anyway. Do you just hate it because they're named after Watership Down characters? You liked the Hazels, I saw.
No, I hate the Hazels. Play the video.
illegitimate son of a Targaryen found one of the most powerful houses in the Seven Kingdoms?
Huh.
What is the story of their glorious lineage? This is the animated history of House Baratheon. Unlike the Starks and Lannisters, House Baratheon is only a few hundred years old and can perhaps be traced back to Lord Aerys.
I will say one thing, they do have a nice emblem, the stag with the crown around its neck.
Targaryen of Dragonstone. He and his wife Elena Velaryon had 3 children, Visenya, Aegon and Rhaenys. But allegedly, Aerion sired another son, a boy named Orys Baratheon. When Aegon Targaryen declared himself king and launched his conquest, his alleged half-brother Orys served as one of his closest advisors and military commanders.
Interesting.
He commanded ground troops during Aegon's first test, defeating Lord Mooten and Lord Darklyn, and was named Aegon's right hand, making him the first hand of the king in the history of Westeros.
That's right.
Aegon was not only a warrior, but a diplomat. He offered to wed Orys to the Storm King Argilac Durandon's daughter, Argella. Argilac the Arrogant was furious at the proposal, and quills were soon traded for swords.
Really?
Orys and Queen Rhaenys Targaryen were commanded to capture Storm's End, the seat of House Durandon.
You request trial by combat, Fable?
Yes.
I push you over. You have been lost.
Wow, rude.
Anyway.
The northern coast of Shipbreaker Bay. The Storm King, knowing that his castle would not survive Meraxes' dragonfire, rode out to meet Orys in the field. Orys proved strategic, taking up position on the high ground of the hills south of Bronzegate. Though Orys' host was half the size of the Storm King's, Argilac's forces were no match for Rhaenys and her flying beast.
Well, yeah.
Orys broke through the chaos and demanded
Dragons are hard to
Argilac
beat.
yield. The arrogant old king replied with steel, and the two men fought until Orys slew his opponent. Argella Durandon declared herself the Storm Queen and refused to yield to the army outside her walls. The household grew paranoid in the face of Dragonflame and captured their queen, delivering her naked and chained to her father's slayer. Yet the hulking warrior treated her with chivalry, taking her...
Alright then, that was kind of crazier than just a trial by walk, says Chaos Killer Fable. Anyway.
As his wife, and adopting both the Durandon banner, a black-crowned stag on gold, and the Durandon words, "Ours is the fury." Aegon the Conqueror granted his bastard brother Storm's End itself, and the title, Lord Paramount of the Stormlands.
So he just became their leader.
Born. Orys continued to serve as King Aegon the First Hand. He joined his liege during the First Dornish War in 4 AC, leading 1,000 knights through the Boneway. They were raided, ambushed, and eventually captured by the Dornish. Will of Will, the Widow Lover, ransomed Lord Orys and his bannermen in 7 AC, but not before cutting their sword hands off. Orys' one hand became a bitter man consumed with vengeance.
I can see why, cutting off his hand. They got her hanged for betrayal later. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Resigning his handship to brood in the Stormlands. One time, Princess Deria Martell of Dawn brought peace terms to King's Landing, and Lord Orys demanded that Aegon send her back to Sunspear without a hand. We know two of Orys's children, Davos, who may have been his firstborn son and heir, and Raymond. In 37 AC, a Dornish outlaw led an army of bandits against Blackhaven and Nightsong. He became known as the Furza Vulture King. Within his host was Lord Waterwill, the son of the Widow Lover, who was commanded to besiege Stonehelm of House Swan. Spurred by vengeance, Orys Baratheon began his vulture hunt, joined by his son Davos. His men conquered and captured Lord Water. Orys took both hands and both feet, usury, as he called it. Orys died of his wounds on the way back to Storm's End, a happy man. Though we don't know for certain, he was possibly succeeded by Davos. Davos' younger brother, Raymond, served in the Kingsguard, possibly under Aegon I, but definitely under Aenys. In fact, he saved King Aenys' life when two poor fellows tried to assassinate him in the dead of night.
Why?
Orys Baratheon's grandson, and possibly Davos' son, was Rhaegar Baratheon. His younger...
The guards got hanged for betraying Orys' wife. Ah, that makes sense, actually. I mean, they did just, like, take their queen out and literally gave him, and he's like, dude, what the hell? Well, no one likes traitors. Not even people that get the betrayers on their side. Because they can't be trusted.
Her brothers were Sir Boris, Sir Garan, Sir Ronal, and Sir Orin. Rhaegar ascended the lordship of Storm's End. His first wife, from an unknown house, died a year into their marriage and produced no offspring. After Maegor Targaryen usurped the Iron Throne from his nephew, Prince Aegon the Uncrowned, Lord Rhaegar refused to declare for the young prince. Although, after Aegon's death, the Lord of Storm's End did provide shelter for Queen Alyssa Velaryon and two of her children, Jaehaerys and Alysanne. In 48
I mean, this was hated for being an incest baby. Yeah, it's not surprising.
Rhaegar openly declared his support for Prince Jaehaerys against Maegor the Cruel. In turn, Jaehaerys named Rhaegar the Hand of the King. Though Rhaegar wished to cut Maegor down with his axe, the king was found mysteriously dead on the Iron Throne. Rhaegar marched his host to King's Landing and had hundreds of loyal Maegor supporters arrested. The Lord Hand Rhaegar and the Queen Regent Alyssa Velaryon ruled the realms side by side. And in 49 AC, they wed during the glorious golden wedding of King's Landing. There were rumors that Rhaegar, frustrated that his new wife was a widow, had bedded 7 Lyseni maidens on the wedding day. Baratheons just can't help themselves. Marriage was on the mind, and Rhaegar went hunting for a future queen. He advised that King Jaehaerys marry the beautiful daughter of the Archon of Tyrosh, and his sister Princess Alysanne marry Rhaegar's youngest brother, Sir Orin Baratheon. The young king responded by sneaking to Dragonstone with his sister and marrying her in secret, which enraged the Lord of Storm.
He married his sister, which seems to be the Targaryen thing.
Yeah, it's
weird. They really like to keep it in the family. As far as
there is a thing in some royal families in the history, to my knowledge.
Yeah, apparently, you know that symbol that they have for the 3-headed dragons when they conquered the land, Fable, for their house, or basically their kingdom?
Yeah.
It represents the king and his 2 sister wives.
Good lord. That is, that's gross.
Supposedly to not lose the control of the dragons, but apparently that's not even a thing. So...
Yeah.
Like,
dragons sometimes choose their riders, but you, I guess.
Yeah, it's obviously not to keep the blood pure so they can keep control of the dragons, but I don't think that's the actual reason, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's definitely not the reason.
Yeah, it's doubtful at best.
End, who tried to annul the marriage through force, until he was dissuaded by his wife. The power couple came up with a less bloody strategy, sending a retinue of ladies-in-waiting, known as the Wise Women, to convince the young couple that their incestuous marriage was an abomination.
Really?
One of these women, Lady Corianne Wilde, was allegedly sent by Rhaegar to seduce Jaehaerys, but this certainly didn't succeed. Desperate, Rhaegar demanded before the small council that Jaehaerys be sent to the Citadel to become a maester. In his stead, the Iron Throne should be sat by Princess Aeria Targaryen, the daughter of the late Prince Aegon the Uncrowned. He was rejected, resigned his hand, and furiously left for Storm's End. His scheming did not stop, however. Sir Ronald Baratheon was sent to snatch Princess Aeria from the Red Keep, but she had already been sent away to a stable disguised as a common girl. Sir Orin Baratheon was then sent to Old Town to capture Aeria's twin sister, Rhaela, a novice of the faith. Rhaegar wanted to pretend she was her own twin, Genius, and crown her as queen. Yet Orin was captured by Lord Donal Hightower and confessed the plot. Rhaegar, expecting execution, drafted a will proclaiming his 4 brothers' innocence and named his eldest brother Sir Boris as heir to Storm's End. Yet when Jaehaerys Jaehaerys came of age, he did not order Rogar's execution. Instead, he brought him to meet his dragon Vermithor. The message was clear. For his part, Sir Orin Baratheon was exiled to Essos, where he joined the service of the Archon of Tyrosh.
Oh, really?
He married the Archon's daughter, and may have had a child with her, although he certainly wasn't the only candidate for father, and later left Tyrosh to join the Maiden's men in Myr. He was slain fighting in the disputed lands. In 51 AC, Alyssa gave birth to Bormund, thus depriving the sour Boris of his heirdom. 3 years later, despite her age and weak health, Alyssa became pregnant once again. The birth proved deadly. Rhaegar chose to save his child at the expense of his wife. Thus did Jocelyn Baratheon enter the world as Alyssa left it. Princess Rhaena Targaryen, the daughter of the late Alyssa, flew to Rhaegar, accusing him of killing her mother by insisting on having more children, and threatening to burn down Storm's End if he ever married again. He never did. When the shivers hit Westeros, House Baratheon did not escape unscathed. The disease claimed Sir Garen's wife, as well as Sir Ronald and his sons. Lord Rhaegar survived, but in 61 AC, only in his 40s, he was dying. He did not want to meekly pass away in bed. No, he wanted to die with an axe in hand.
Makes sense.
Fortunately for him, another Vulture King was raiding the Stormlands, supported by the rogue Baratheon brother Sir Boris. Sir Garen became regent of Storm's End as Rhaegar marched into Dawn, King Jaehaerys flying above him on Vermithor. First, they cornered Sir Boris. King Jaehaerys personally slew the traitor to prevent Rhaegar from being a kinslayer.
Okay,
A month later,
because that's seen as a terrible thing apparently in this universe. Well, it's a terrible thing in general, but yeah, kinslayer is usually frowned upon in most royal circles, as far as I know. My girlfriend's more knowledgeable about this kind of stuff, but yeah. Being someone that slays your own kin usually is not seen well. Well, I do it for my family for a Quandac bar. Joking aside, yeah, it's considered a very terrible thing.
The Vulture King himself. Lord Rhaegar challenged him to single combat and slew him with his axe. Half a year later, Rhaegar died in bed, and Bormund became the new Lord of Storm's End. Lady Jocelyn Baratheon was raised as a ward of the Red Keep. In 70 AC, she married her half-nephew Prince Aemon Targaryen, the son and heir of King Jaehaerys, and gave him a black-haired daughter, Princess Rhaenys. 10 years later, her unmarried brother, Lord Bormund, was chosen as a potential suitor for Princess
Daela. They are cursed by the gods. Every god? Oh. I did not know that, huh?
Targaryen, but she preferred the kindly Lord Roderick Arryn instead. We don't know who Bormund eventually married, but he did sire a single child, Boros. Lord Bormund proved himself a martial man. When Morian Martell launched an invasion of the Stormlands, Lord Bormund awaited his coming on Cape Wrath, and when Myrish pirates attacked the island of Tarth, he joined his vassal Lord Cameron Tarth in combat. During this campaign, his brother-in-law Prince Aemon was slain by a crossbow. Prince Balon the Brave flew to Tarth upon Balerion the Black Dread, helping them drive the pirates off the island. Balon was named by Jaehaerys as his new heir, skipping over Bormund's niece, Princess Rhaenys. Yet when Balon himself died, a great council was called to vote on the succession. Bormund supported his sister Jocelyn, his daughter Rhaenys, and Rhaenys' son Laenor, but the great council selected Prince Viserys Targaryen instead. Bormund, hard and strong and unmoving like stone, was succeeded by his only son, Boros, raging and howling and blowing this way and that like the wind. He married Lady Elenda Caron and sired 4 daughters, known as the Four Storms: the sour Cassandra, the clever Maris, Ellen, and the pretty Floris. The following chapter will include spoilers for existing and future seasons of House of the Dragon.
I don't care about that sort of thing. I will admit, this is quite a bit interesting to me at the very least. But yeah.
You have been warned. When Viserys I died and the Dance of the Dragons broke out, Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen assumed Boros would support her claim. After all, his father Bormund had supported her late husband Laenor Velaryon. Yet Prince Aemond arrived at Storm's End first, and Boros had no desire to see a woman on the Iron Throne. According to Mushroom, Aemond kissed each of Lord Boros's daughters before choosing one as his prospective bride. We don't know who, but it certainly wasn't Lady Maris, who bitterly mocked Aemond, prompting him to hunt down and kill Lucerys Velaryon. The Stormlands declared for the Greens, yet Boros did not join the fight. Instead, he marched his host to the Red Mountains to confront a new Vulture King who had risen. Boros bravely waited until Queen Rhaenyra was executed before marching his army to seize King's Landing. He betrothed Cassandra to the widowed Aegon II, and Floris to Lord Larys Strong, the Clubfoot. A host of rivermen were marching on the capital.
The rivermen? Why are they Kermits? Why are they frogs?
Why are they Kermit? Why is Kermit the Frog there?
They're called rivermen, so I guess they just why?
Lord Kermit Tully and the Land.
Oh, because he's called Lord Kermit Tully.
Oh my lord.
Why?
Lord Boros marched out with his inexperienced host to meet them, thus initiating the Battle of the King's Road. It proved a disaster for the Stormlanders. Although Boros
Really
managed
named
to
them
slay
after
Roland,
Muppets.
Dowry, and Jorah Alistair, he was eventually
Wait,
felled.
really? Martin named them after Muppets, really?
Oh sweet lord. Where's Miss Piggy?
There's also Elmo and Grover there. Tully.
Oh my
Grover
sweet.
Tully.
Where's Miss
By
Piggy?
Lord Kermit himself.
Lord
Nah,
Ker-
take that, you son of a bitch. His
God damn it. I wasn't expecting that.
My lord. What
pregnant
is
wife
this?
soon gave birth
I
to
know.
Lord Royce Baratheon, and Elenda Karen ruled as her son's regent. But what of the Four Storms? The ladies Cassandra and Ellen were proposed as brides for King Aegon III, although rumours that Cassandra had murdered Princess Jaehaera began to swirl, likely spread by Lord Unwin Peake, who wanted the king to marry his daughter. In 135 AC, a conspiracy was hatched, a foiled attempt to poison Aegon III. Cassandra was exposed as one of the conspirators, confessing to having slept with two other conspirators, Sir Mervyn Flowers of the Kingsguard and Tessario the Tiger. As punishment,
Mervyn
Cassandra
Flowers.
was married to a minor knight named Sir Walter Brownhill to help look after his 13 children. The
13
clever Lady
children.
Maris was sent by her mother to join the Silent Sisters, mayhaps as penance for her mockery and manipulation of Aemon Targaryen,
I
while
see.
Lady Floris was married to Lord Thaddeus Rowan, only to die 2 years later in childbirth.
Damn.
House Baratheon remains a mystery for a while. All we know is that, during the reign of Aegon IV, an unnamed Baratheon maid was married to a Lannister, and all of their children were black of hair. The Baratheon seed is strong, after all. We do not hear of named Baratheons until Lionel the Laughing Storm, and Gowan, who was probably his younger brother. All we know of Gowan is that he married Lady Tyr Lannister and sired a black-haired son. What we know of Lionel,
The Laughing
however,
Storm. That's a hell of a name, I'll be honest.
is far more exciting. This
The
next
Laughing
chapter will
Storm.
include spoilers for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms
fine.
Season 1, and potentially
I did, funny enough, hear about this. That is apparently incredibly well choreographed, which is interesting.
future seasons as well. Once again, you've been warned. Sir Lionel was a giant of a man with a booming laugh. As a young knight, he attended the tourney at Ashford Meadow in 209 AC, defeating Sir Robert Ashford and throwing the crests of his vanquished opponents into the crowd.
Oh, wow.
He later joined Sir Duncan the Tall during his trial of 7, eager for glory. In 237
I do like
AC,
his helmet.
King Aegon V arranged for his son and heir Prince Duncan Targaryen to marry Lord Lionel's daughter. Yet Duncan broke the betrothal and instead married a lowborn girl named Jenny of Oldstones. The furious Lionel declared himself Storm King and rebelled against the Iron Throne. The rebellion ceased when King Lionel was defeated in trial by battle against Lord Commander Duncan the Tall of the Kingsguard.
Duncan
Aegon
the Tall.
V rectified the slight by betrothing his daughter Princess Rhaella to Lionel's heir, Ormond. Ormond and
Alright.
Rhaella married in 245 AC, producing a single child named Stefan. Stefan Baratheon was sent to King's Landing to serve as a page and later a squire. He befriended his cousin, Prince Aerys Targaryen, and a young lad named Tywin Lannister. When Jaehaerys II took the
Lannister,
Iron Throne, he named his brother-in-law as his hand.
Always
and
the
launched an
Lannisters.
Always the Lannisters fable.
Yeah.
invasion of the Stepstones with Ormond as commander. Tragically, Lord Ormond was cut down by King Meleys the Monstrous, and he died in his own son's arms. In that moment, on the battlefield, Steffon became Lord of Storm's End. Steffon was married to Lady Cassana Estamont. They produced 3 sons, the boisterous Robert, the dour Stannis, and, much later, the carefree Renly. We know in the text that Stannis
Bobby
references
B.
a great uncle
Alright.
Harbert, who is either Steffon's
The
uncle
world
or
is Bobby
Cassana's uncle.
B.
King Aerys II named Steffon, his old friend, to the small council. In 278 AC, he sent the lord Sir Volantis to find a suitable Valyrian bride for Prince Rhaegar. While Steffon and Cassana did not find such a bride, they did stumble upon a witty fool named Patchface. Yet, as their
Patchface?
ship sailed back to Storm's End, it was caught in a storm and sank
Patchface.
beneath the waves. Steffon and Cassana drowned, as Robert and Stannis watched on from the parapets of the castle. Only Patchface
damn.
survived.
Only
Before we
Patchface.
move on to the 3 main Baratheons of A Song of Ice and Fire,
The 3 main Baratheons.
there is only one more house member to mention, the mysterious Stormbreaker, a famous knight who brought glory
Stormbreaker.
to the family name. How? When? We have no idea. Robert Baratheon was fostered by Lord John Arryn at the Eyrie, where he befriended Ned Stark of Winterfell. He fell in love with Ned's sister, Lyanna, and was soon betrothed to her. He was particularly offended when Prince Rhaegar Targaryen crowned her his Queen of Love and Beauty at the tourney of Harrenhal, and furious when Rhaegar kidnapped her and the Mad King executed Ned Stark's father. Thus did Robert's rebellion break out across the realm.
This was the reason for Robert's rebellion. I do know a little bit about this, at the very least, but yeah. Because basically a Targaryen had done a Mad King thing, and yeah.
He marched his host to victory after victory while Stannis took command of Storm's End, which was besieged by the Tyrells.
Well, he kidnapped his wife and killed his father, so... yeah.
The Trident, Robert slew Rhaegar with a warhammer to the chest. He took King's Landing and the Iron Throne itself by right of conquest and also due to his Targaryen heritage. Stannis was granted Dragonstone, either because Robert was insulting him or granting it as a sign of respect towards his heir, and Renly was given Storm's End. Stannis married the sour Selyse Florent and sired a daughter named Shireen Baratheon, who survived a bout of grayscale but was left permanently scarred. She proved
father-in-law. So, he murdered his father-in-law.
was a lonely child, her only friend being the witless fool Patchface. King Robert wed Cersei Lannister, and it proved to be an abusive, loveless marriage. While crushing the Greyjoy rebellion allowed Robert to relive his former glory, he mostly spent the tedium of his reign growing fat and drunk and licentious. The king was a man of many lovers and many bastards. As a young man in the Eyrie, he sired a daughter named Maya Stone. During the rebellion, he impregnated a Riverlands prostitute with a girl named Bella. At Castle Greenstone, he cheated on Cersei with his own buxom Estamont cousin, and in King's Landing, he fathered both a lad named Gendry with an unknown woman and a baby named Barra with a whore from Chitaya's brothel.
Dear God,
the
man.
only bastard
Keep
is
it,
openly...
Dear God, man, keep it in your pants for 2 minutes. Because that is a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Acknowledged, however, was Edric Storm, who he sired with Lady Delena Florent
Again,
on Stannis'
dear
wedding
God.
bed. Ironically enough, his own supposed children
17 bastard. Oh my God.
with Cersei, Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen are incestuous bastards themselves.
Yeah, this is something I do know. Funny enough, this is what little bit I do know, is that these are not actually his kids. They're kids that Cersei had with her brother. None of these kids are his.
Not true Baratheons. Which leads us to House Baratheon during A Song of Ice and Fire. Robert sits the Iron Throne, Stannis sulks on Dragonstone, and Renly rules Storm's End. The great houses sworn to House Baratheon of King's Landing are the Starks, the Lannisters, the Arryns, the Tullys, the Greyjoys, the Tyrells, the Baratheons of Storm's End, and the Martells. The
Interesting, bunch of houses.
houses sworn to House Baratheon of Dragonstone are the Bar Emmons, the Celtigars, the Sunglasses, and the Valarians. The houses sworn to House Baratheon of Storm's End are the Bucklers, the Carons, the Conningtons, the Dondarians, the Errolls, the Estemonts, the Penroses, the Selmys, the Stedmans, the Swans, the Tarths, and the
That's
Wilds.
a lot.
John Arryn dies, and Robert names Ned Stark as his new hand. Renly sits the small council as Master of Laws, while Stannis sits as Master of Ships, although he's fled to Dragonstone in suspicion of John Arryn being murdered. Robert is plied with strong wine by Lancel Lannister and is gored by a boar. He later dies in bed, and the inbred bastard Joffrey becomes king. Despite being the youngest
Yeah, I
Baratheon
do
brother,
know Joffrey is an asshole. That's one
I
thing.
feel bad for the actor.
What'd you say?
I feel bad for the actor. He did such a good job of being a bastard that everyone hates the dude who played him in real life. It's just like, oh, guys, come on. Don't be mean to the actor.
Yeah, that's not good. What, honestly, can I say this? It's always better to play, like, if you're a villain in something animated. Because that
Right.
way people can disconnect with how you look from the actual character.
Yeah.
Renly declares himself king and marries Margaery Tyrell to secure an alliance with the Reach. Stannis also declares himself king on Dragonstone
Of
and
course he
renounces
does.
the faith of the Seven for the Lord of Light. He's supported by his closest advisors, the Red Witch Melisandre and the Lowborn Knight Sir Davos Seaworth.
Oh,
Through
great.
shadow magic, Melisandre and Stannis assassinate Renly. Stannis
Oh.
absorbs many of his brother's supporters and launches an assault on King's Landing, which is foiled by Tyrion Lannister, as well as the alliance between the Crown and the Reach. Back at Dragonstone, Melisandre convinces Stannis to sacrifice his bastard nephew Edric Storm to wake the dragon from stone, but Davos rescues the child with the help of Sir Andrew
Good.
Estamont. After being presented with Maester Aemon's letter, Stannis decides to sail to the Night's Watch. He defeats Mance Rayder's wildling army, strategizes with Jon Snow, and begins a long march southwards
this.
to take Winterfell from the Boltons, to unite the North behind his rule and prepare the realm for the long night. What is the fate of House Baratheon in the Winds of Winter? King Tommen and Princess Myrcella still live, but they are no true Baratheons. The last surviving legitimate Baratheons we know of are Stannis and Shireen. Shireen is likely to meet her fate on a pyre, and Stannis' quest for the Iron Throne will probably end in failure. He may be slain by the Boltons, overthrown by the Northern Lords he wishes to unite, or mayhaps even crushed by the others when the Long Night begins. Robert's only acknowledged bastard, Edric Storm, is hiding in Lys. He could be legitimized as Edric Baratheon by a future monarch, such as Aegon VI, or even Daenerys. The only other surviving bastards we know of are Gendry and Bella, who are currently in the war-torn Riverlands, and Maya Stone, who's befriended Sansa Stark in the Vale. If there are no legitimizations, however, and both Stannis and Shireen meet their tragic fates, the illustrious line of House Baratheon may soon be at an end. Let me know what fate you think awaits House Baratheon in the comments below. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to Fantasy Haven for more animated videos like this. If you're interested, there's a Patreon with exclusive access to the Haven Hall Discord, voice chat sessions, teasers, early access, and special videos. There's also a merch store if you want some mugs or t-shirts. Links are in the description below.
I will admit, while the Songs of Ice and Fire do not have as much magic as I expect them to, it's very interesting that they still have some of that.
Right.
It's why I sometimes consider it low fantasy, but people say that I'm wrong, which is understandable. But, I find it interesting either way to learn that bit of lore. Everyone cheered when he died. I'm not surprised. He seemed like a very bad man. The problem
he was a bad.
The problem is his wife's son was even worse, from what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
All it takes is one bad king, but two bad kings can really topple things. But yeah. So, once again, if you guys like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, if you want me to do more, get this video up to 1K, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Everyone cheered when Joffrey died. Folks love Robert. Okay, I see what you mean. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. And later, guys.